This is where most people start to feel the stress. In our local market, especially with detached homes over 750,000, buyers are being very careful right now. They aren't just throwing money at houses like they did a few years ago. They are looking at every single detail. When a buyer asks for an inspection or a price reduction because of an old roof or a dated electrical panel, it may feel like an attack on your home. It may feel like the deal is falling apart. You think to yourself, why can't this just be simple? But it's not difficult. It's just a project. When you hear no in a negotiation, it doesn't mean the deal is dead. It just means we found a bump in the road that we need to smooth out. Most people miss this part. These dips and valleys are where the real profit is protected in a deal. If I just told you what you wanted to hear and I ignored the bumps, I wouldn't be doing my job as your realtor and your strategist. My job is to see the pothole coming and steer around it without damaging the car. Now, let's talk about the waiting bump. This is the weird, quiet period between an accepted offer and the day the conditions are cleared, also known as the conditional period. This is often the most stressful part because it feels like you've lost control. This is when the what ifs start to creep in. What if the bank appraisal comes in low and the buyer can't cover the difference? What if the buyer's own house in Oakville doesn't sell? And also very common, what if the home inspector finds something I didn't even know was there? The time between an offer and the end of the conditional period when the deal is firm, that's usually when most of these what-if scenarios kind of are born. But the truth is 90% of them never happen. This is usually where I get the phone calls where they start with, I'm so sorry to ask you again, or I'm sorry to bother you. You feel like you're bothering me because you're worried about something that might happen 2 weeks from now. But here's why you should never feel the need to apologize. This is probably the biggest financial project of your life. If you weren't concerned about the details, I would be worried. You're dealing with your equity, your debt, and your future. I've seen deals in Burlington that looked like they were going to collapse on a Friday night because of a tiny paperwork error at the bank, only to be fine by Monday morning. But the bumpy road definitely feels scary because we don't like uncertainty. We want to know what's happening at every second. Think about the I'm sorry mindset for a second. When you feel like you're being a bother, you start to rush. You might be tempted to say yes to a bad condition or accept a lower price maybe than you should, just to make the stress go away. Don't do that. That's how you lose tens of thousands of dollars. This is a business transaction. It has a start, a middle, and an end. It has milestones and it has setbacks. My job isn't to give you a road with no bumps because that road doesn't exist in Ontario. Really, my job is to act more like the high-performance suspension for your move. I'm here to take the hit so you don't feel it as much. I'm here to tell you, yes, this is a bump, but here's exactly how we're going to drive over it without popping a tire. So if you're feeling the weight of the bumpy road right now, it's okay just to take a breath. The back and forth, normal. The second guessing, also normal.